Why a narcissist isn't sorry. I'm Elizabeth Shaw. Welcome to the channel, which is all about the narcissistic personality disorder, to give you more understanding of those you might be dealing with in your life, what you've been through within your life, how to handle narcissistic people if you cannot go no contact, and most importantly, ways to recover from narcissistic abuse. If you do find the information on the channel helpful, please do subscribe. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you very much for all your support, and I hope life is going much better for you now. I know it's difficult in these lockdown situations, but everyone keep going, keep doing what you're doing. There is always light at the end of the tunnel. We will get there. So why do we want to hear I'm sorry, and why a narcissist isn't sorry is what this video is about. An apology without changed behaviour is just further manipulation. We are all individuals, and many of us feel differently about an apology or the reasons why we want one. We all have the same emotions, however, how things affect our feelings, how we handle our emotions, vary from person to person. There is no wrong way or right way to live your life with good intentions. There is only your way. Fear plays a massive role, as well as the narcissist gaslighting, in the acceptance of apologies that just don't feel right, and staying with those who don't treat us right. Also, a belief that they do love us even when they show us that they don't. An apology from another when they have wronged us in some way often paves the way for us to discuss our boundaries with them, have our feelings heard, how our feelings have been hurt, to have our feelings validated by another, knowing it's not our fault as they've admitted to the mistake. It actually in a way protects our ego, knowing that we weren't at fault. And knowing the other person understands that it wasn't our fault, they're taking responsibility for their behaviour. Those unwilling to give a genuine apology, those willing to hurt us time and time again, are not the kinds of people we need apologies from. We need to apologise to ourselves for not seeing that while we were busy overlooking their flaws, they were busy exaggerating all of ours. For giving ourselves for putting up with behaviour we should have never put up with, forgiving ourselves for trying to see the good in those who continue to try and gaslight us into not seeing their bad, while they exaggerated their good. Often lies upon lies of who they are not, to hide the truths of who they indeed are. Their actions teach us who they are. Their words distort our reality, so we cannot focus on who they truly are. So it's never straightforward to just walk away. The trauma bond and the human needs are some of the many reasons why we stay. It takes an average of 7 attempts to get out of an abusive relationship. Sometimes we don't need an apology or to forgive. We just have to accept the facts, leave the past behind and move on with our future. Those who've been entangled with a narcissist will know it's not that easy. However, it is possible, and once we start, it becomes easier. Unfortunately, through a narcissist manipulation of gaslighting and blame shifting, which they like to mix up a little and do some projection, even when we get the apology that means so much to us, these apologies often leave us with more self-doubt, more self-blame, as they do not hold the same meaning for a narcissist. We simply think completely differently from these people, and we are just not compatible with them. Treat others how you want to be treated, and if they continue to hurt you, treat them how they treat you, yet in your own kind way. Cut off their supply and walk away, not to hurt them, to heal you. People that hurt you do not deserve you being there for them. You have every right to walk away from those who hurt you. And I know getting over the guilt is another minefield that we have to work through, but Do not feel guilty for walking away from those who continue to walk away from you. Are they sorry for how they've hurt you? No, because they don't have the empathy to care. Are they sorry they got caught? Only if they feel their power slipping away, if they lose what they feel entitled to, they might temporarily feel sorry for themselves. Why most will go all out to smear your name if they don't achieve what they wanted from you. When a narcissist can no longer control you, they will try to control how others see you. They go all out to move on fast and do all they can to rub salt in your wounds. Be that a parent with a sibling, a boss with a co-worker, in a personal relationship, the ex moving straight on or moving straight in with somebody else. They do it to gain those reactions from you, to provoke reactions from you, to paint you out as the unhinged, crazy one. A narcissist does not have the empathy to care for the impact their negative behaviour has on those around them. They only care if there'll be consequences to their actions after the fact. They don't fear repercussions before, as they believe they're entitled to do as they please. Only after, when someone finds out and confronts them, do they care, but not for how they've hurt the person, for how their actions could possibly affect their lives. They don't lie to protect your feelings, they lie to save themselves. If a narcissist is caught out, they will always find a way to escape responsibility and blame someone else, cause an argument, triangulate, intimidate, lies. They are only ever sorry they got caught, and they will do all they can to excuse themselves of their behaviour. To be sorry and to give a sincere apology, people need to recognise the wrongdoing within their own behaviour, recognising how their actions might have hurt another, recognising the mistakes they have made, recognising their actions might not have been with the feelings of those around them taken into consideration. As a narcissist lacks in empathy, they don't care for how they've made someone feel. As they have a sense of entitlement and an ego to match, they believe they're entitled to do as they please, as they believe they are special and only interested in getting their own needs met. They are not sorry for what they did to hurt you, only that once caught, you might respond in a manner that might take their control over you away from them. To be sorry and give a sincere apology, you need to accept responsibility, which, as a narcissist, has that sense of entitlement that they believe they should be allowed to do what they want, whenever they want, with whoever they want, without having to answer to others. They will not accept responsibility for the behaviour they don't even recognise as wrong. To be sorry and give a sincere apology, you need to be remorseful. As a narcissist is preoccupied with power and success, whatever that power and success is to the individual narcissist, as they are obsessed with having control, having that dominance over other people, they believe they are entitled to do as they please to achieve what they want. As they lack in empathy, they simply don't have the compassion to care for those they hurt, so they don't feel remorseful for their actions. They might feel shame if others were to find out and see their true character, which is why they will always pass the blame. To be sorry and give a sincere apology, you need to want to repair the damage your actions have caused. This is why we can sometimes get a false apology from a narcissist, not because they want to repair the damage, hurt or pain they've caused another, because they want to protect their interests, whatever those interests are to the individual narcissist. We often might get these types of blame shifting apologies from a narcissist, which are, I'm sorry, but. So all those, I'm sorry, but if you were there for me more. I'm sorry, but I knew you wouldn't understand. I'm sorry, but you gave me no choice. I'm sorry I broke that, but you made me angry. I'm sorry I didn't tell you, but I knew you couldn't handle the truth. I'm sorry, but you didn't give me a chance to tell you. I'm sorry, but I didn't know how you'd react. There's always a you in their apology as they try to pass the blame. Sometimes they leave the but out, but they will always use that you. So I'm sorry you, I'm sorry you feel that way. I'm sorry you took that the wrong way. I'm sorry you misunderstood me. I'm sorry you couldn't handle the truth. And I'm sorry you made me do it. A narcissist mindset that is a case of that didn't happen, and if it did, it wasn't my fault, and if it wasn't that bad, and if it is, I didn't mean to do it, and if I did, you made me do it. Now, that I'm sorry you feel that way, that's one that many people advise to use on a narcissist you cannot go no contact with, and people feel uncomfortable using that, and there's a big difference. They are saying, I'm sorry you feel that way, because they will not take responsibility for their actions that hurt you. They are trying to pass your feelings as the problem rather than their actions as the problem. When you say to them, I'm sorry you feel that way, you are not willing to take the blame for their actions. You are not willing to take the blame for the way they have treated you wrongly. So even when we get an apology from them, they try to gaslight us, which is psychological manipulation to distort our reality via things like blame shifting, which is trying to get us to blame ourselves for their actions. Why so many survivors of narcissistic abuse can and will go around apologizing for anything and everything, as they've been fed so many manipulative lies into believing everything is always their fault. It is not your fault. In reality, we are only ever responsible for our own behaviour. No matter how much someone provokes us, it can be difficult to control our behaviour, as a narcissist gaslighting and projection can leave us with the cognitive dissonance, and in some cases it can cause brain damage, which with time and work can be reversed. That we have to take the time and make the effort to heal from. It's not your fault they programmed you to doubt and blame yourself. Abuse is abuse, and there is no excuse. Narcissistic personality disorder is to explain the reason they behave the way they do and what you've been through. It's not an excuse for them to behave this way, as we know all too well they can act very differently if there could be consequences to their actions, or if there's people around watching, so they can control themselves depending on who they are around and what needs that they want met. Some narcissists can and do offer what seems like a genuine apology at the moment. Not many. If they believe they can manipulate you to exploit you some more, they will say, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to hurt you. And it seems genuine. However, in these cases, you have to look at a person's actions. You have to look at their past. Is history repeating itself? Have they hurt someone else this way before and not learned from it? Regardless of what they say about the other person, have they done it before to you? You forgave them and they did it again. Then this is a false apology. They haven't learned how they hurt you. They've only learned how to say sorry to you so that they can get away with it and manipulate you to use you some more. We are often led to believe within ourselves that we need an apology. We need that person who hurt us to say, I'm sorry. So we know they take responsibility for their actions. They are remorseful. We can let go of the pain and the hurt and the anger that they cause. It's not their actions that hurt us. It's the meanings that we give to the person and the meaning we give to their actions that hurt us. It's all in the meaning. It's learning how to validate our own feelings when someone has spent years invalidating. It's learning that we are allowed to be kind and gentle with ourselves. We are allowed to feel how we want to feel. We just have to learn to recognize the emotions, what they are telling us, and change our approach so we can let go of any hurt or any pain. Our minds control our emotions and we control our mind. We can control our feelings. We just have to learn how to process them. We have to lower our expectations of people while we raise the standards of behaviour we will and will not accept from those around us, as those who continue to lie, steal, cheat, manipulate and let us down are not worthy of us. Emotions are like action signals, and they are a sign that we need to take action on an area of our life to reevaluate how we perceive something or how we are proceeding with something, the way we are handling a situation, the way we are behaving towards ourselves and towards others. Learn and listen to those emotions and take action to change something. Emotions don't have to be negative and they don't have to be positive, especially when someone else is provoking you. When you use your feelings to serve you, you get to a higher state of mind. So your emotions work for you and no longer against you. So when they come at you, when they provoke you, and normal feelings to have when they provoke you in the way, but when we don't give them the reactions they want, we no longer feed them, we starve them, we cut off their supply, and we can focus on our lives, we can focus on our happiness, we can focus on our future. We cannot change or control someone else's harmful, toxic, destructive, cruel behaviour towards us, or their opinions of us. Their views of us are not for us. Only we define who we are. We can control how we walk away from these people and how we react. It's hard to start when they push all your buttons, when they know all your weaknesses, to purposely provoke reactions from you. Yet it's worth it for our own inner peace and happiness. Emotions are telling you to either change your perceptions, change your procedure, change your communication, change your expectations, change your circumstances, or change the situation. And we need to change our state of mind. Emotions mean we need to change something. So change your perception. Ask, did they mean to hurt me? If they did, leave them be. If they didn't because they didn't know your standards, change your procedure or your behaviour. Start to communicate with them more and express your beliefs and standards up front with others. Your standards are your standards. Don't let anybody put your standards or your boundaries down. They are yours for you. If people don't respect them, they are not the people for you. If you can compromise with others, it's okay. If others don't want to compromise, they are not for you. Not everyone has the same standards, yet we can respect other people's standards, walk with them or walk away from them. With a narcissist, they don't think or feel on the same level that others do. It's all about them. If you expect them to understand, if you expect them to care, you will spend the rest of your life frustrated. Working on you and your emotional healing is vital. So step 1, identify your signal. What is your emotion? Step 2, recognize what the emotion is telling you. Step 3, take action to change. So if they've done something and you're feeling hurt, feeling a loss, it usually means that you have an expectation of someone that hasn't been met. So clarify and take action on your perceptions or your procedure and then take action. Anger. If someone's provoked you, if you're feeling anger, rage, furious, if you're feeling resentment towards them. Step 2, clarify your perception or procedure. You have a standard for your life that's not being met. This cannot be getting met by you, or it cannot be getting met by someone else, or you can feel like your standard isn't being met by other people. And then 3, take action. Pain. If you're feeling pain, you need to change the perceptions, change the way you communicate, or change your own behaviour, the way you're looking at things. And then 3, take action. So for example, if you're feeling hurt that someone left you, you need to change your perceptions of what life was going to look like in your future and change it to what you can make your life in your future and your present be now. If you're feeling hurt that someone has broken your trust, you need to communicate with them. And if they're not willing to communicate, they are not the people for you. If they do this again, if they communicate the first time and then break your trust again, you need to change your perception of that person and stop giving them the same chances to disappoint you. If you're feeling hurt that someone has broken your trust again after you communicated with them, you need to change your perception of that person. Learn that they do not care for you. They only care about themselves. And as difficult as it can be, walk away. If you're feeling hurt, someone has taken advantage of you. Learn from it and don't let them retake that advantage. Learn your boundaries, learn your standards, learn your beliefs. Learn to no longer people please to those who are unwilling to treat you in the same manner that you would treat them. If you're feeling hurt that someone manipulated you, learning how they do this so that you are wiser and you don't let people manipulate you again. We don't know what we don't know until we know. And being in a narcissistic relationship is a very, very confusing place to live. Coming out of one is a very, very confusing place to be. Learning about ourselves. There's an awful lot of information out there. There's so many different videos out there. So finding the ones that work for you. We only make it as easy as we want to make it, and we only make it as hard as we want to make it. So the best and simple steps and the best and most simple advice is, if people don't make you feel good, you do not need to be around those kinds of people. There is being lonely and there is being alone, and you can be with someone and feel more alone than you will ever feel if you are on your own. It's taking steps to recognise the past for what it was, leaving it in the past and focusing on your present, creating that future, dreaming up that future plans. And it's difficult when you've got hopes and dreams with somebody, but there is ways, there is means. You can and you will do this. Other people have done it before you, and you can do it too. Life gets so much easier once you understand what narcissistic people are, what they are doing to you, when you can recognise what manipulation techniques they are doing so that it no longer provokes or hurts your feelings. In the description, I shall add where you can find me on social media for more information. The online courses that give you a step-to-step guide for overcoming narcissistic abuse. There's one that includes everything. There's one that's mainly about the narcissistic personality disorder. One for, I say co-parenting, but it's more counter-parenting with a narcissist, and one for overcoming trauma bonding and anxiety. And there is a free one to get you started. I shall also add the videos to explain more on projection, more on gaslighting, more on cognitive dissonance, and more on their fake apologies. So if this is the first video you've ever heard and you've not heard of things like projection, blame shifting, and gaslighting, those videos will be in the description. If you are new to this, it can be quite confusing, but you will get there. We all do it differently. Some people learn about the narcissistic personality disorder and move on. Some people learn about it and help others. Some people learn about it, move on, but still listen, because it's just, I personally find it fascinating, and some people do find it fascinating. I know it's an incredibly painful experience. I lived that experience myself, but I can promise you, with self-work, with inner work, it does get better, it does get easier, and you can create the life, you can create new dreams, you can create new hobbies, you can create the life you want to live for you. And yes, we're going to have bad moments. Yes, we are going to have bad days. That's a part of life, but on this journey, we do learn coping mechanisms to deal with those days much better than we did in the past. Anyone has any advice, please do add it in the comments. Anyone has any questions, please add those in the comments also. Thank you for listening. Bye.